Hello, my name is Allison Corman, and welcome to my podcast, 10 Minutes to Less Suffering. And the name of today's podcast is When Life is Unfair, How Can We Stay Happy? Recently, I've had 3 separate people come to me to tell me a life experience that they had, and they were stuck in one way or another because they believed life was not treating them fairly. My friend's daughter came to me and told me that she didn't get a job that she applied for. She believed she was just as qualified as the woman who got the job, and she thought it was unfair because maybe she had a connection that my friend's daughter didn't have. I have a client who experienced a breakup last year, and now her ex-boyfriend has just gotten married and seems really happy, and she still remains single. She says, I don't see how life is fair. I'm such a wonderful person. I'm such a kind, loving person. Why am I single? And why is he married? And lastly, I have a friend who works on local politics where she lives. And she worked really hard on an environmental issue, and it didn't pass the local council. And she said to me, I don't understand. Life is not fair, and I don't think I can continue fighting for these issues that I care about when I can't make any changes. So you see, each person had a reason why they thought life was not fair. And at first glance, we could say, okay, they're just having an experience and these are their feelings. But the problem is, my friend's daughter is now living in the fear and the stress that she's never going to get a job. And so it's really hard for her to clear her head to move forward. My client, who is very upset that her ex-boyfriend has gotten married and seems happy, now doesn't want to go back out and date because she doesn't believe that she could have what she wants. Life is unfair, and she'd rather not get hurt again. And the third person I discussed, who was fighting to clean the environment, has given up hope. She said, it's not fair. Everything's about politics, and I really care about the environment, so I'd rather be doing something else. But what's really interesting about all 3 people is this idea of life being fair or unfair is what's knocking them off course. And when we focus on life like that, when we feel life has to be a certain way or we judge it as fair and unfair, all we're doing is giving our power and our vision and our dream and all the things we want to the outside world. And I know I used this analogy a couple of weeks ago, but it's like looking in the mirror and looking at your reflection and saying, you smile first. You are going to be there a really long time. If we let the events in the outside world dictate what we do, if we make everything about fair and unfair, we lose a sense of self. And it could be very hurtful, some things that happen, and some things are not fair. But this is a part of life. Often we are only willing to stay on the playing field. We're only willing to stay hopeful. We're only willing to keep trying when life shows us a sign that we should carry on. But all we're really doing is giving up what we believe in. And what we're being asked is to show up with grace. And for those of you who want to understand that better, when I say grace, it's largely about focusing on what you want to happen next, rather than focusing on what has happened to you. It's about taking ownership of yourself, your emotions, and responsibility, even when life is unfair. It's interesting, I always say to my business clients when they come to me, hold your vision over your problems. And the same goes for your life. No one's going to come make life fair for us. For some reason, we have an expectation of that. But the truth is, when we hold on to the dream, when we hold on to the meaning, when we hold on to the vision, then we smile first. Then we act first. And every day we get up and we try again. And that's what I told each of these 3 people that came to me. If my friend's daughter wants to get a job in the public sector, if she wants to make the world a better place, even if people have connections, even if she has to apply to 50 jobs to get one, then she's holding her vision over her problems, her vision over what she thinks is fair and not fair. Then she shows up with grace and figures out how to get where she needs to go. And as for my client who doesn't want to get back out there, she has a choice. She wants a light to shine upon her, and I so get that. But she needs to go back out in the world and shine her light and spread her love. And know that how she treats herself and how she cares about herself and how she steps out into the world, that will cycle back to her at some point. And I hope she goes back there and she fills her cup back up with all the glory and all the wonder and all the beauty that she has the capacity to experience. And my friend that works for the environment, I hope she gets back out there. That's the thing. It's sometimes we don't realize it, but we're planting seeds. We want results because we think it's time. But life has its own timeline. Life is going to do what it's going to do, but if we keep getting up and we keep planting seeds, for all she knows, maybe she inspired a younger person to fight for legislation. Maybe the time wasn't right, or maybe next year or the year after that, changes will be made. We don't know. But again, when we start singing the song that life is not fair, all we do is discourage ourselves. All we do is that we're demanding life to be a different way, and it's not. And this is a time for radical acceptance, to accept what is, but not to give up hope. Remember, nobody knows what the future brings. But if we get off the playing field, if we say, life, show me something first so I can believe. Show me a sign of hope so I'll go back out there. I need something to carry on. We might not get that sign at the moment we ask for it. So we need to go back to ourselves and commit to certain things. And the first thing is we commit to a life of meaning. What is meaningful to us? We get up every day and we do it because it's meaningful. Not because the world congratulates us. Not because we're going to be successful. But this is what makes our heart beat. This is what is important to us in our lifetime. That is the path, not results, meaning. And then we take that meaning and we create a vision and we say, I'm going to hold this vision over my problems. I'm going to hold this vision over whether I think life is fair or not. And every day I'm going to get up and I'm going to try again. And I'm going to have grace. And grace is taking responsibility. And grace is focusing on what we want to happen next rather than focusing on what's happening to us. And sometimes gratitude, of course, helps, because when we're grateful, we look at all that we have. And when we look at all we have, we find the resources. And those resources sustain us. They give us a platform to stand with. And they also give us strength and love because we see all that we have in our lives. And we can appreciate the moment and appreciate the good. So we don't let the thing we think is not fair take over. We don't let it sink us, even if it's something that's important to us in our lives. Always see the good. We always see the potential. And we always look at uncertainty as our best friend. Thinking about life as being fair or unfair steals our hope. And I don't know about you, but I need hope to get up in the morning. I need hope for a better world, hope for a good day, hope to solve my problems, hope to fall in love, hope that my children are well. And there's nothing wrong with hope. We get stuck when that hope comes with a story. We get stuck when our hope has to manifest a certain way. That's when we have pain. My friend's daughter hoped to get that job. My client hoped to marry that boyfriend. My friend hoped to get that legislation passed. And that's why they're all feeling despair and negativity. But that's because they attached hope to a specific story. And remember, it's our story. It might not be the truth or the reality of what life had in mind. And again, that's why I always talk about uncertainty and this idea of maybe, because maybe is hope without attachment. It's saying, I have hope, but maybe life could be okay many different ways. And if this didn't happen, maybe something else will. And that's why I'm always playing with that idea, because I don't want to get attached that life has to be a certain way. Because then I'm going to get trapped in life is fair and life is unfair. But if you release it to maybe and you release it to uncertainty, you realize, okay, I'm going to hold this loosely. I'm going to hold this idea, I want a great job, or I want to fall in love, or I want to make the world a better place. I'm going to hold it so loosely that I'm going to allow it to manifest in many different ways. And I'm not going to lose hope, because the future is unknown and this is meaningful to me. And I'm going to wake up every day and try again. Maybe, just maybe, we're going to find our way. Maybe we get the next job. Maybe we meet someone tomorrow and fall in love. And we don't even think about that ex-boyfriend. And maybe we get involved with something with our community and maybe the next thing passes. It's more about maybe than it is about life being unfair. It's about looking into the unknown, knowing there are infinite possibilities, knowing the potential, know that what you're seeking is seeking you, know you need to have a life of meaning, holding visions over problems, and always remembering maybe the best is yet to come. Thank you for listening to this podcast today. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you could email me at allison@allisoncarmen.com. If you'd like to buy my books, The Gift of Maybe or Year Without Men, they're available at all major bookstores and online retailers. And if you like this podcast, you can subscribe and leave a comment.